What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode and another week of the What the Puck podcast. I'm Nick, that's Gunk up there, and Gunk. We
Hey,
are deep into the first round of the playoffs, and before we get into that, we have some NHL trophy finalists that have been announced in the past couple days that I want to talk about.
yes, sir. Let's do it.
And first off, we have a pair of brothers that have been nominated for different trophies. We could start off with the Norris.
Yes.
The nominations, the finalists for the Norris are Roman Yossi, Kale McCarr, and Quinn Hughes.
Three top powerful fucking defensemen tonight. This is gonna be a tough one. I mean, I will of course go for the bloodline, baby. My boy Quinn Hughes. I will always go for the bloodline.
Final
A-
boss, Quinn
a-
Hughes.
Acknowledge the Hughes brothers, baby. That's what's up. But I don't know if he will win because Makar and Yossi have been had a great season too. But I think he might have a chance at actually getting this one. Like I said, they both played. They both of them, besides Quinn, played both really well this year, and were all three. And that was three great choices. But this is really for me is a toss up. I mean, because Quinn had a great like first really part of the year, like almost to the All Star game, and then Yossi and Makar kind of came on like in the end. At the All Star break, you would have said Hughes is like the shoe in to win this, but he kind of slipped off in the last maybe like 25, 30 games. I mean, don't get me wrong, he wasn't like terrible, but he just wasn't playing up to like what he was doing at the beginning of the year. And these two kind of came out, so it's gonna be like a three-way race. I feel for the Norris this year. I mean, all three were well deserving, and for me, I don't see any either. I wouldn't be mad if any of three of them won this for the Norris this year.
I agree. I mean, it like you said, it definitely is a toss up because I feel like you could easily make a good case for all three players,
Oh,
but I
absolutely.
feel like you gotta give it to Hughes. I mean, look at where he's been able to take the Canucks as a defenseman
Agree.
compared to where even Nashville or Colorado are or were. I mean, Colorado is, you already know that they're going to have a good team no matter what, and Kale McCarr just makes them better.
Yeah,
Roman
absolutely.
Yossi has been probably one of the most underrated players in the NHL. I don't feel like he gets enough attention a lot, so to see him get a nomination for the Norris is really good for him. But I feel like if they don't give it to Quinn, they should give it to Yossi.
Right.
I just feel like he's done more for his team and for the league as a defenseman compared to McCarr or Hughes. And
Right.
if we're going based purely off of skill, they'll probably give it to McCarr or Quinn. But in terms of an all around player, I feel like you got to give it to Yossi there.
I agree, and I feel Yossi being in Nashville kind of hurts his case just because it's a smaller market where you get like even if but a Vancouver, of course, we got it's always the Canadian. The Canadians always stick together. You know what I mean? They always those Canadian not players, but Canadians that play for Canadian teams usually will bump up for their Canadian their counterparts.
Hmm.
But Yossi, like I said, it's probably a Nashville thing because again, their team wasn't as good as either one of as Colorado or Vancouver this year. I mean, they kind of just I mean not snuck in the playoffs, but they were a wild card this year. So maybe they take that into consideration, especially because it's only for the regular season. But like I said, I would like Yossi to see it. But again, I will go with just Quinn just because of the brother setup. In my opinion, that's how I feel. It's like it's one of those like in my heart I want Quinn, but we'll see what happens when the awards ceremony rolls up. But again, three great choices. There's not a choice in here that I would disagree with at all.
Well, we go from three great choices to the clear pick for the trophy, a decent pick that I can understand, and the other brother.
Yes,
The Calder Trophy, your finalists are Connor Bedard,
of
Brock
course.
Faber,
Yep.
and
And
Luke Hughes. Not sure why he's there.
what are you talking about? How he's not there? Who else you gonna put there? Seriously,
You could literally find anybody else. You could pick anybody else besides somebody that gets consistently burned in their own
no, no,
zone
no,
every
no.
night.
No, 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 bull. That now we're. This is where I was thinking when you were telling me this morning.
Nah, because
I looked up the stats. Yes, one of the best. First of all, Luke Hughes is for a rookie defenseman for the Devils. At least he's the top scorer of all time now. He beat the rookie record set by a rookie defenseman. He beat Scott Mean. I think it was Scott Niedermayer's record. It was either Will Butcher or Scott Niedermayer, which I hope he doesn't turn into Will Butcher. God forbid. Let him turn to Niedermayer instead of Butcher, please. But if you look, yes, he was on the ice for I think his plus minus was about like minus like 34 or 30 or 44. But again, a lot of those goals were empty net goals this year. And again, watching every game, he was on again, he when they were down one, he was always on the ice with his brother and the other big guns on the Devils trying to, tie the game and they scored the opposite team scored a lot of empty net goals on the Devils this year. So if you take that out of consideration, he was really only a -4 on the year. I mean for a rookie
I mean,
who lost really like one of the leaders of their defense and Dougie Hamilton to not help him during this whole rookie year. I mean,
yeah, but then
you basically lost for the year, and the kid played well. I mean, yes, he had a couple stretches, but again, he's a rookie. He had a couple stretches in the middle of the year where he didn't play well. But again, going
yeah, but he,
into
I feel
okay, I'm sorry.
I feel like I feel like he couldn't be as a defenseman. He couldn't be trusted in his own zone, which you need as a defenseman. I mean,
Right.
you look at his split between takeaways and giveaways at 42 takeaways and 69 giveaways with 42 defensive zone giveaways. I mean, when you've given the puck away in your own zone as many times as you've taken a puck away in any area of the ice, you
Right.
got to start looking at more underlying numbers as to like what's going on with this kid that he's so unreliable in his own zone. Because like
Right.
the amount of times he starts a shift in the defensive zone is just short of 10. It's at 9%. So they're having to rely on this kid to become an offensive defenseman and start all of his shifts in the offensive zone, because if not, he's going to get, you can see that he gets blown up behind his own net a lot, and he's on the ice for a lot of different negative opportunities against the Devils. I mean, I I just feel like with I just feel like a lot of the reason his nomination is here is because of the name, and they needed something. Like they just couldn't pick any other rookie.
Right.
But like at that point, you already know who it's probably going to anyway. You know it's going to Bedard. So
Oh,
I
absolutely.
can't. I I guess I can understand it, but I just feel like there's probably somebody else that you can look at that
Hmm.
could be better. Like you could easily still maybe justify like a Slavkovsky as a nomination over Luke,
Okay.
but I mean
What was he?
it's still gonna be a
Was he?
runaway for Bedard.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, was Slafkovsky considered a rookie for this year? Because he did play
I
a lot. He did play a lot last year, so I don't know
but
if he had a rookie status this year.
I'm not. He
I'm just
might have been able to.
yeah, like I said, I have a feeling that this would be considered because I guess he played enough games last year to be considered not a rookie anymore. But I mean, I could be totally wrong about that. But like I said, for me, like I said, I watched the kid in every game, and you could see the development coming. You could see what he started out as. And again with the Hamilton injury, like I said, he was forced into playing a more offensive defensive role in this team. And again, he's a 20-year-old kid. I think, like I said, for a team that almost made the playoffs, I mean, they were in it till the last couple weeks of the season. I mean, I think he did a good job. And again, if there was somebody where you could say, yes, please, this is the person that needs to be nominated. I mean, of course, like I said, Bedard's gonna win it.
Logan
I'm not
Cooley,
even like
there's your
joking. Like,
name.
yeah, yeah. It's not like, oh my god, like he's not gonna win this. It was a nice nomination to be thrown in there. He'll be at the awards. I'm sure. I'm sure Jack will be there. I'm sure now with Quinn being nominated, I'm sure he'll be there. All the bros will be there. That's all they really wanted. He's not winning it. So, like I said, it's a mute point to even argue it. But for me, I feel like it's if you could just give me somebody else that you figure that could throw into the mix, I would say, okay, let me give you a chance. But for the last half of the season, these are the three that were really penciled in for this awards nomination this year. So, like I said, the kid deserved it. Maybe you'll give him a little boost going into next season. Let's see what happens. I mean, congratulations to him, but again, it's all Bedard's trophy. So said he'll get a nice announcement on the stage with his name and a picture and a little video montage, and Bedard will go up there and take the trophy. So
as
you know
as is known.
exactly. So like I said, it's a mute point to even argue unless you, like I said, you can give me somebody to even even replace him.
Yeah.
And look, Brendan Smith almost took him out, almost took Bedard out, and almost wrecked his season. So he might have been helping Luke out, but I don't think they were thinking that at the time.
No, because like I have a list of bunch of different players that are eligible,
Okay.
and I could easily say put Logan Cooley up there before Luke Hughes.
Ah,
You just
again,
but why
that's where
put
you go
your
back to
top
the
player
name.
up
I mean,
there?
again, yeah, and that's probably where you're thinking the name. The name probably does come into a little bit of a factor, but I mean, was he like hand, hands above him? I mean, was he like really as
I
you know?
could easily say so. Yes, I feel
I
like
mean, again, that we just agree to disagree on this one, just because again, I think it probably is a bias for me, but I feel like the kid played well this year. I mean, you can't. I mean, for the role he was
I mean
thrusted into.
he had sparks, but I mean. Yeah, we could agree to disagree on that one because
Yeah, totally.
it
Like I
just
said,
seems weird on that.
yeah. Again, if there was somebody above and beyond what he did this year that should have been top three, I would agree. Yes, I would say yes. It's just a name, but you really, again, we all know it's Bedard's trophy. I mean, again, these are the three that you had penciled in for, you know, in the middle of the season, probably going to be the finalist, and that's what happened. So sometimes it happens that way. I mean, shit. Again, maybe he's not deserving, but again, he's not winning it. So give it to Bedard. God bless. Let him continue. I'm sure they'll get the first pick again because they're trying to build up Chicago again. But we'll see next week in the lottery. Let's see. Hopefully, a ping pong ball, which would be hilariously funny if they drop the 3.3 percentage and drop the first pick again. And now they have Jack Hughes with a first pick. They have Nico Hischier with a first pick, and then you probably have a celebrity with their choice of the draft lottery if they win the lottery this year.
And then your alarm goes off. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's what just happened. That's why he said that. Shit, see, he was just trying to slide me for being late. I'm sorry. I apologize again. No, it's just
That's what
no,
Gump was
but again,
dreaming about before he got on here.
that's what I was. That's why I didn't wake up because I was dreaming about Luke carrying that nice big Calder trophy home. It ain't gonna happen, brother. But like I said, good nomination for him.
Yeah, it's good.
But like I said, now we got our awards, and we'll see some awards coming out in the next couple of days. But again, we got to talk playoffs.
Yes, let's
and
get to games.
and look, Mr. Sweep himself.
Yes,
Oh my
get
God,
the fucking brooms
Mr.
out,
Sweep.
baby. Get the fucking brooms out. What did I say? People were
You
saying Rangers in 5. Nah, fuck you.
no,
Rangers in 4.
dude. I watched that first game and I was like, oh yeah, this is over in 4. I was
Yeah.
like, no way that no way the Capitals even sniff one. I was surprised the games were a couple of those games were as close as they were. I mean,
They put up a good they put up a good effort. They put up a fantastic effort, but
yeah. You know what that means? That putting up a good effort means that you sucked. I mean, come on now, don't give me that.
what?
That
Come on,
good.
I gotta be a
I
little
know.
nice.
I
What?
know all the link. I know all the jargon into with this. Oh, they played with no. They sucked. No, first of all, nobody wanted that goddamn second wild card spot. Everyone kept losing in the last month of the season.
Honestly, I think I'm happy
Washington,
now that I didn't get Detroit. I feel,
Washington, dude, Washington won that by default. I mean, come on now.
but
I
I
mean,
was
seriously.
sitting back in the cup, fat and happy with fucking Washington. I
I'm
was
sure you were.
nervous with Detroit.
Oh, I'm sure you would have been. Like you said, it was just. I know it was like, oh, when you see it come out, it's like Washington. It's like, okay. I mean, like I said, good for Ovi. He got into the playoffs again. I mean,
Yeah, you do
again,
precisely nothing. You do
did
fuck
nothing,
all
but
series. I mean,
the
thanks
guys,
for showing up. You took the plane rights.
The guy's 92 years old. Give
I
him a
don't give
break. I
a
mean,
fuck. You came to play. You
dude,
wanted the spot so bad. Show up and play.
dude, dude, if Pittsburgh won, they would have said the same thing about Crosby if you would have swept them in 4 again too.
I
So they would have
mean,
said the same exact shit. So it's not even like, it's not even the thing here. So again, nobody wanted that damn second wildcard spot in the East. And now you got the setup because again, the Islanders just as bad, one game better, but just as bad that these wild cards suck this year. And basically it was coming down to the 3 teams now, but we'll see what my Maple Leafs do.
they
Matthew Nides
they
without Matthews. I can't believe it. I thought they were done, and
they
they're
should
done.
have been. They damn well should have been. That team was dead in the fucking water.
Oh
You
yeah,
don't do shit. Sheldon
nope,
Keefe should have been fired going into this
fired.
game.
Oh my
Everybody should have
god,
been fired. I was watching these games, and I was just. This is not the that was not the same Leafs team that I was watching heading
no.
into the playoffs. It was
Oh
fucking
heck,
atrocious watching them. Like,
nope, absolutely not.
I
And
mean,
again, not even watching this team all year, and I was just like, I was getting as frustrated as I did like normally. I'm like, what's going
I,
on?
I felt
I was
so bad. I was watching some of those
like,
games, and I was just like, I told Gunk to watch this team.
oh, Leafs fans out there, I will not shit on yous anymore. You guys are so passionate. I thought like this area was passionate about it until I took a deep dive into what these fans go through,
Oh
and it's
yeah,
ridiculous. Oh my god. I mean, the poor people are standing out there 10,000 deep in a square watching this team go down like 3-0, and they're just like as silent as could be. I mean, it's funny, but it's not. I mean, but
but we have
God,
to
Toronto.
talk about one thing in regards
Hmm,
to Boston, Toronto,
go ahead.
and everybody stop fucking crying. This isn't juniors. Is the best line that I've ever fucking heard from a hockey player. To get that screen cap, to see what he said is the funniest thing, because I understand that even if it is migraines that Nylander had, in this scenario, I don't want to hear stop fucking crying, take an Excedrin. I don't want to hear it.
Uh,
You all suck. You wouldn't be in this scenario if you just all fucking played. Do
that's
what
it.
you needed to do. All you just play, and there you go. Like, I don't under. It's the funniest shit I've seen. But what is this stop fucking crying shit, Willie? And then
Uh,
and then Mitch to turn
uh,
around like a little baby bitch and throw your gloves. Fuck you. If I was Sheldon Keefe, I would have walked up to you, tapped you
uh,
on the shoulder, and thrown you out of the fucking game. You can go get changed if you want to start taking your stuff off and throwing it off in the middle of the game. Fuck you. I could not
uh,
understand that.
uh, yeah, Mitch Marner. Apparently now again trying to follow this team. Like apparently Mitch Marner is
You
like public
learn
enemy
so
number one to
much
Leafs
so
fans.
fast. But what
Oh,
pisses me off is during intermission, every single media outlet person, Paul Bissonnette, whoever, bashing Mitch,
oh
bashing
yeah,
him on Twitter, bashing him on
Bastard.
TV,
Oh,
everywhere.
he called him.
Comes
He
out,
called him ridiculous. I mean, come
he is
on. Shit.
ridiculous. Let's
He
be
called him
real now.
ridiculous.
He is fucking
It was hilarious
ridiculous.
to watch.
But
The
then
only
he
thing that
comes
would
out.
have been the only thing that would have been better if he'd said to go get a Midol because that would have been hilariously funny. Cause like chicks and like their periods and stuff. I know I fucking bombed that one shit. That was if you first of all, folks, if you gotta explain a joke, it's not funny, and I thought it was gonna be funny, but it totally wasn't. But okay. But yes, Leafs fans fucking Mitch Marner apparently is like enemy number one to you guys. I mean, they hate
They
him. Oh
want
my
him
god.
gone.
Oh my god, the TikTok on the Leafs TikTok was blowing up about how much these fans hate Mitch
Yeah,
Marner.
they
Oh,
do.
it
But then
really
he
it
comes
really
out
is
and scores the
funny.
most beautiful goal you've ever seen. One
Yeah.
on his knee, through the legs,
Yeah.
everything. Like, come on.
And again, just like we do here, we bash our teams back and forth all year. And God, like I thought, like I said, I thought we were on a level. Oh my God, Toronto fans are on a different level than anything about this area. So,
Oh, Toronto fans make Rangers and Devils fans look normal.
oh my God,
It's
talk about they make Phillies fans tolerable. Shit.
yeah. I mean, I can respect the Toronto. Hey, I can respect the Toronto fan, but oh my goodness.
Hey, I got to follow a good team. They're doing pretty well this year. Got to give it up to the Phils so far. But yeah, oh, those Toronto fans are really relentless. Holy shit.
It's
But
I,
again, it was a good pick though because I'm enjoying this series very much.
it's
I
been a
mean,
good series, but you
it's been
had
a
to
great
know that
series. Yes.
Toronto was going to force a game six last night. You had
Yeah,
to know. There was no
yeah. When I
shot that they
saw
were doing any. There was no shot they were rolling over and dying.
no, absolutely not. And like I said, Matthew Nye just scoring a nice goal in
There's your name
overtime.
for the call there, Matthew.
Nice, nice,
Nice, nice.
nice. But yeah, really, like I said, I've been enjoying this series. I've been enjoying a lot of these series. You know, the Vegas and Dallas series has been awesome.
That
All
scared
the
me for a sec. I thought Dallas was rolling over and dying.
So did I, but every team is one. It's one of those weird series that like every road team has won the game. You
And
know,
now
won these.
Vegas is making a change in goal. They're starting
Yeah,
Aiden Hill tonight, which is something. I mean, I understand why if you need a little bit of a spark going into a game where you just lost two straight after being up 2-0 in the series and you're concerned about going down 3-0, go to the guy that won you a cup.
exactly.
Like
No, that was
I understand it, but it just seems I feel like with something like that you could like sneak him out there. Like don't announce that. I mean like
yeah.
people on Twitter said like Aiden Hill's the first one off the ice at practice. He's probably going to be the starter. So like but
No,
like
absolutely.
you could easily just be like, "Hey, don't say anything."
No, absolutely. Yeah, just keep it on. Again, you never, especially with social media and
Oh,
every
you never
and the
know.
way
But like,
there's always reporters. They're gonna find out, and usually, again, you know how hockey is traditional. Usually, the goalie's the first one on the ice. You know, they're in practice, and they have starters net. So if they're in the starters net, they're most likely gonna start the game. So, like I said, when they saw him in the goal, they of course they all the stories came out that it's gonna be Hill for Game 5 tonight, or is it tonight? Yes,
it
tonight. I'm
is
sorry.
tonight.
And like I said, they thought the coach, Bruce Cassidy said, I thought Logan played well, but he put us in a spot. It's 2-2. He did his job. So let's see what Aiden Hill can, can post up in this, in this pivotal 2-2 game to, see who gets the advantage going into Game 6.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Dallas takes it. I mean, I feel like they have a lot of momentum right now. Aiden Hill hasn't had much play recently. So I feel like they're gonna be able to they gotta take advantage of a quick start in front of their
Yeah,
home crowd, get their crowd going, like every
that's
team in the playoffs. But I mean, you got a
again,
nice chance to really get going here. I mean,
yeah, and it's a smart move. Just break the momentum.
yeah,
You
get a
like I said,
spark going.
yeah, you're at home. Like I said, you lost two on the road. You were ahead in this series. You were excuse me, at home, and you were ready to go. And like I said, you just didn't get the spark. And this is perfect. This is what coaching decisions do. Good coaching decisions. Good coaches make good decisions like this. And this is, I feel like, a good decision for Cassidy and Vegas, which of course nobody's rooting for because of the hilarious scenario that, again, because we missed last week, we didn't get a chance to talk to, was Mark Stone is back
He is
for
back.
Vegas.
He's back from the
I,
dead.
the LTIR. I mean, somebody literally, it
I
was so
want
funny
what
that
his doctors are giving him.
seriously, I'll take a truckload of it, whatever they're giving him to help his injuries out. I mean, shit. But it was funny. Like if you see on Twitter, there's a picture of his wife with a Vegas fan with his jersey with the letters
With the
LTIR
LTIR,
on the
yeah, that's a
back, which
good.
made me laugh. And again, it's so nice to see because again, that's just being a good sport about it. I mean, shit. I mean, your wife is taking a picture with somebody with that on the back of their jersey. You figured they would be pissed as hell, like, "Oh, you're not a real fan."
No, that's
No,
just top level trolling.
it's top level trolling, and God bless them. You know me, I love a good trolling, baby. So
Exactly.
hey, God bless them. Hey, they took advantage of they're ones almost like how the Patriots did for all those years. They took advantage of the rules. It's in the rule book. That's the way the LTIR is set up. They took advantage of it. They made their trades at the deadline, got Hannafin, got Hurdle, and like I said, they're ready to roll in the playoffs. It's 2-2. Let's see how this series goes. But it's a very interesting series to regardless, nonetheless.
All right, so I got a question for you, Gunk.
Hit it.
The last time we spoke, I had mentioned at the top that Filipino was on the ice practicing and everything, and we were
Yeah.
concerned about where to put him, if to put him in the lineup at all.
Okay.
And I know we had touched on the Rangers a little bit before with the sweep and everything, but going into talking about Carolina eliminating the Islanders last night, the focus now shifts over to the second round a little bit with the Rangers and Carolina series.
Oh,
I'm ready for this series to go seven,
oh, oh yeah, this is
and
must watch. Yes, baby. This is.
now I'm not as hesitant to want to put Heedle in the lineup.
I can understand that. I can totally.
I I believe now is the time to give Rempe the boot and tell him to sit.
Right.
He got his job done in the Washington series.
Hmm.
He did what he needed to do. He got a goal. He got his goal. He got the team
Yeah.
going.
Yep.
He did his job for the year. His name will be on there if God willing they get there. His name would be on there. So you did your job, kid. But I
Hmm.
think for a series against Carolina, you need the skill, you need the speed, you need the talent, and you need the
I
knowledge
do.
that Hedo possesses to really be able to get going and really compete with a team like Carolina.
Yeah.
Washington ain't Carolina.
No, absolutely not. No.
So, I mean, I've been making the joke of I ain't afraid of no hurricane. Like, no, no man in a mask is going to tell me to stand back.
No. Absolutely not.
so,
I mean, no.
it's going to be
This is
something.
this is the second round series that you knew it was coming because again you saw who both teams are playing against. It was like you knew this series was like it was coming ahead. It was bound to happen. These two teams were the best in the Metro this year. They deserve to battle it out to see who makes the conference finals. This is going to be a tremendous series for either team that wins. I mean, it doesn't really matter right now. I mean, of course, I know you want your beloved Rangers to win,
Yes.
and like I said, but it's going to be again. We played Carolina last year and we got whooped in five. I think last year going in their Rangers was their Super Bowl basically. They beat the Rangers in seven, and then they had no heart against Carolina. Your team is going in with a sweep. You guys are on a high. This is going to be a tremendous series, and I am so looking forward to watching this series play out, in the next couple weeks, and it's going to be tremendous, especially for this area because again, they haven't had this kind of electricity in this area for, especially the New York teams in a long time. Everyone's reminding this of 30 years ago, and basically, it's so funny to see the comparisons to what how everything's playing out with the New York, especially the Madison Square Garden teams, how it
Oh
played
yeah,
out in the
the
94 to now comparison to 2024 with the Rangers. They swept their first round opponents. They swept the Islanders in '94. They're having a tough series, in second round. And if
and
the
the
Rangers advance,
Knicks and
they'll
the
probably have a tough.
Knicks. You
Hmm?
can't forget about the Knicks. The Knicks
Oh no, no,
playing
I was
today.
bringing. That was my point of the story was Rangers. The Rangers won the President's Trophy in '94. They won it this year. The Knicks won exactly 52 games in their season that year. They were the second seed in the NBA playoffs in '94. The Knicks made it to the finals. Of course, they lost to the Houston Rockets and the famous O.J. Simpson, who, not saying God bless because f him, but rest in hell, motherfucker. But we had the OJ. It was the OJ series with everything happening during. Basically, you can go watch the net. I think it's on. I don't know if it's on Netflix or ESPN. Oh no, it's ESPN. The 30 for 30 about. I think it's June. 15th or 16th. Basically, it was the Rangers winning the cup, or it was their parade. It was their parade day.
Mm.
The Knicks were playing the Rockets in the finals, and then the OJ thing happened. I think actually, I think that was the year the World Cup started too. Like that year too. I think they started. That was like the first game of the World Cup that year. So yeah, it's a very interesting. It's called. It's like June 16, 1994. I think is the name of the ESPN 30 for 30. It's a really interesting watch, especially being an older gentleman that lived that, and you remember that day. It was a really big day, especially in this area. It was a really interesting day with everything going on. But yeah, the 30 years ago comparisons is really funny to watch. And hey, hopefully, you know what? It might work out for your Rangers this year, but we'll see
You
going
never
into the
know.
Carolina series. Again, like I said, it's going to be a tremendous series. I feel like yes, that was what you're saying is perfect. He's Carolina is not the team that you want to mess with in this scenario with somebody like him. You need skill. Their defense is really good. Like I said, the goaltending is really sketchy. I mean,
Freddie's been playing good, so I can't say that anymore. I feel
yeah,
like now that he's back, he's been on fire. So
yeah.
I
But again, best series. I feel like the best series is going to be this one coming up, and it's like it's just like coming to a head. You could tell just by the way their first rounds went. It was like you knew this was coming. You know, get ready because here we go. Get the like my man Tio said, get the popcorn ready because it's gonna be a great 7 game series. I feel like.
well, let's go to a 5 game series that ended last night that involves the Hurricanes that fucking sucked. The Islanders suck. I feel like Washington deserved to be in the playoffs more than the Islanders did.
Hmm.
2 games in a row, not 2 games in a row, but 2 games where you allow back-to-back goals in under 10 seconds. And I think it's funny that it happened 8 seconds apart last night, and
Hmm.
the last time they did it was 8 days ago.
Jesus.
So, honestly, good battle, I guess, but I'm glad you didn't get. I mean, you didn't get swept. So like, I
No,
guess
and
that
it's I feel like again watching a few again watching the highlights a few of those games. It's the MO of the Islanders all year. I mean, if you look again, the only reason they even made these playoffs is because of the loser point, basically.
yeah, as we've
I
been
mean,
talking about.
yeah, if you take away that loser point, this team is not making the playoffs. So they basically did exactly what they've done all year. They played well into the third period. Even last night too, they got it to 3-3 going into the third, and then Carolina just said, "That's it, we're taking over." And game's over. Boom. They score 4 minutes into the third. Drury scores, makes it 4-3. Stefan Nason, who I wish he played like this with the Devils. I said that for the last
That's
two
what I've been
years.
saying too.
Oh my God! You remember me and you watched Stefan Nason freaking on that horrible Devils teams back in the day. Like we'd sit there in the last couple games of the year watching them because they had nobody else, and it was like, oh, okay, we'll just put him in. Now the kid's a mid-range player now. I mean, shit, I mean, good for him. I mean, even Devils fans want him back. I mean, they're like, when they were targeting off-season, like they had like a big article about like what they should do during the off-season. They wanted to bring him back, which actually right now, if he plays the way he's playing, I'm okay with.
I I could see that working. I would like that for the Devils.
Oh, absolutely, a great bottom six guy for him. They would settle that bottom six down. I would love it. But let's see. Again, he might just resign with Carolina just because he's maybe more comfortable there. So good for him. He got his third of the playoffs last night. Made it 5-3. Put the game out of reach. Jarvis scores the empty netter, and we say toodles to the New York Islanders.
And one more thing in this game for his second of the playoffs, a slow goal for Kuzi on a penalty shot. I lost years of my life watching the replay of that goal because I know that's his move and everything, but put your
Right.
batteries back in. Like, oh my god. Like, like a whole period that took to be able to get that shot done. Like, I don't understand how goalies let that in. How are you not set for that?
it's it's
Like
one of
I
those mental it's one of those mental things where you just sometimes you think the guy's gonna come down. Again, it's hard on goalies just because
no, I
you don't know if
understand, but it's just like, I mean, you're set for so long, just
I
stand
know.
still.
Yeah, but that's like if you say if you go somewhere like if you're at your job and they tell you just to stand there for 20 minutes straight and just stand there and with like this. Just stand there with your arms up and ready to go, and then you don't get anybody for 20 minutes. You're standing there like, I'm
Come on.
ready, and then somebody comes and you're like, oh shit, like, and you panic. I mean, you can relate that to real life, but yeah, should have made the save, but what do shit happens sometimes. I mean, the slowest, like, I mean,
I think that's what's so frustrating about it is just how slow it is. Like you got so much time to prepare. You're like, okay, I'm set. I'm set.
yeah,
I'm set. Fuck.
again,
It's behind me.
I mean, he looked like he like set up in the parking lot, skated so slow through the parking lot into the building onto the ice, and then finally picked the puck up like 20 minutes later. And then yeah, it's I don't know. What do you think there should be some kind of rule? Maybe there's like a almost I hate to get into this because I hate the baseball rule of like the pitch clock. But
I mean,
maybe you think there should be like maybe like a timer, maybe like a 10-second timer, or maybe five,
I
7 second
mean, no,
timer.
it's fine. It's not really an issue.
Okay.
It's just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Yes,
Like
absolutely.
it's not ridiculous bad. It's ridiculous funny, and
Oh,
therefore
absolutely.
it's not an issue. But
Yeah,
like,
but you know how people are with stuff like that. They see something like that and then they jump on it. Just like like I was saying with the pitch clock. People were taking so long, pitchers were taking so long between pitches and doing all kind of like, weird stuff, going walking around the mound, did it. So and again, especially nowadays, sports just regulates like stuff like that. Especially if when fans start complaining, they try to regulate it. But again, I feel like, hey, that's what they're there for. They're there to score the goal. And if you want to do it fast because you know the guy is not set, go for it. If you feel like you want to like, skate around, put a little something in the goalie's head, just, making him wait, hey, if that's where you're going to score, go for it. So I find, like you said, I found it more funny than anything. It
oh,
was,
yeah, as did I. But one thing the NHL needs to change because I'm gonna start complaining about them is fucking Winnipeg. This
oh,
another team that fucking sucks. Just we talked about Toronto. We expected Toronto to just roll over and die. Winnipeg just rolled over and died.
yes, which I was
Uh,
very unfortunate because I had a rooting interest in the Jets too with my man TT and Colin Miller getting traded this year. I was hoping for Winnipeg, but again, the Avalanche's experience took over, just dominated the series 4-1. Again, one more toodles to
yeah,
the Winnipeg Jets.
and like you can't blame Hellebuck for this series like I see a lot of people doing.
Oh,
His defense was atrocious for a lot of this series,
yep.
and he could not get any help. It's not Hellebuck's fault. He just got nominated for the Vesna. It's not his fault.
It's not his fault. And it's so funny again. I hate bringing it back because I'm a Devils fan. I can't help it. Devils fans on the board saying, "Oh, look it, this is what you want to trade for. This see he would have done this in the playoffs." No, it's a different team.
Yeah,
If you would have gotten Connor Hellebuck at the beginning of last season, this team is a playoff team. I'm sorry. I mean, you put him in the Nets instead of Schmidt and friggin' Vitek this year. This team's making the playoffs. I mean, they even if they were a wild card team, this team is making the playoffs with Connor Hellebuck. And yeah, how can you deny the guy? He had a wonderful season this year. I mean, like you said, he's one of top three now, nominated for the Vezina. Good for him. Hey, I hope hey Winnipeg fans, you don't want him, bring him here.
We'll
we'll
take
take
him.
any goalie help we can right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jake Allen was really good in the last 15 games of this year, but God, we need a number one goalie so bad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so effing bad. I know. I hate to be the one that, oh, we need every superstar like player on every position, but goalie is one of those positions you just need a number one, and right now we don't have a number one. So let's see what old Fitzmagic can ring up this offseason coming up. Let's see. So, but again, let's get back to the playoffs because
Yes.
again, the playoffs have been really fun this year. I mean, I've enjoyed a lot of these games. Like you said, you got Canucks Predators, really good series.
That's been back and
But
forth. I'm shocked. I was honestly
back in,
expecting Vancouver to win it rather easily, but I knew Nashville was going to put up somewhat of a fight.
oh yeah, absolutely.
But I did not expect it going the way it has. Nashville's looked pretty good so far against Vancouver, but
Yeah,
Vancouver's had a lot of injury issues. Both you lose both of your goaltenders. That's never good.
yeah.
So I mean, it's they're making do with what they can, and honestly, I respect that with Vancouver
Oh,
because there's other teams so far in the playoffs that just haven't done
right.
that at all.
Okay. Absolutely.
Like Tampa Bay had to make do with what they had and couldn't. Like
Right.
they I knew a lot of people expecting them to win this series in about 7 games, and they just I've like this series was supposed to be entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like none of these like anytime the Lightning and Panthers meet in the playoffs, it is the most boring series or like the quickest. Like
Yeah.
every single time they've played, it's been over I think in 5 games at most.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, good, good to see
Well,
Florida win, but like what the fuck?
yeah, but again, it's also you got to figure the Lightning right now. Again, a lot of people did not expect them even to make the playoffs this year. They were gonna be a middle of the road team. They had a great end of the year to get them up to to one of the first wild card spot. They played Florida. Florida had a great year. They had a run last year in the to the finals last year on their magical run, and like I said, they're out for it this year, and the Panthers are set. They're ready to roll. They'll probably get the Bruins, so that's going to be entertaining series between those two teams. And then again, these basically are the four teams, except for like I said, except for the Bruins and Maple Leafs. That was really for me the only series that I had any like that was going to go along. That was going to be a long series to me. I felt like the Panthers and Lightning might have went 6, but 5 is right around where I thought they would be. Just because, again, I don't think the Lightning is just as good as they used to be. I mean, of course they got Vasilevsky, they still got their stars, but the Panthers are really they have stars, they have grit, they have the goaltending, and they're just a really good team, and they showed it during the regular season this year finally. And now, winning the Atlantic, and now they're set for, a nice Atlantic Division battle between whoever wins it. Like I said, most likely it'll be Boston, but it's gonna again, the Eastern Conference, those top 4 teams are the really dominant teams where last year, it was kind of a toss up. The Western Conference was more we know who's going to be in it. We know who's going to, make the second round in the finals. And Eastern Conference last year was really up in the air. I mean, you had a lot of teams that could have came out of the East, but this year it seems like it's either Rangers, Hurricanes, Panthers, and Bruins. It's gonna be one of those teams that really emerge, and both of these teams or all excuse me, all 4 of these teams played really well in the regular season, and it's gonna be a battle for the East, and you're gonna have to grind it out if you want to get to the finals this year. And I feel like this is why I feel like an Eastern Conference team will actually win the cup this year between one of those 4 teams. I feel like that's because the gauntlet is really tough this year, and in hockey, when you go through a big gauntlet like that, that's where you're gonna get the playoff experience. You're gonna get the playoff grit that your team needs. And then rolling through these series, it's going to be really well. And like I said, one of these 4 teams really deserve any one of the 4 deserve to make the finals against whoever comes out of the West. But again, it's been a really interesting playoff this year.
Yeah, the last series that we need to talk about here is one that could end tonight. The starters for the game are Stuart Skinner and Big Save Dave, Edmonton
Ah,
and Los Angeles.
yes.
Edmonton coming off a thrilling 1-0 win the other night.
Hmm.
LA is just sad.
Yeah,
Outshoot
they've
Edmonton 33-13, lose 1-0. That's just sad. I would have just went home. I would have just said you can have it.
yeah, the poor Kings fall from grace. They won the end. They're almost in the position of the Tampa Bay. They had their run, a few years ago. They're getting older. I mean, their star players, Dowry, Kopitar, are getting older now. It's just not their team. They're at that point where it's like they don't know if they need to reboot, just cancel, just clear the deck, start out new, or should they start adding players to build on it? It's again, it's hard when your team is like really in that middle position where you just don't know where to do, like to blow it up or to like add to it. And right now, I feel like the way LA's playing. I mean, they had 44 wins on the regular season. It said they're a good solid team, but can they measure up if the firepower of Edmonton starts heating up? I don't think they can win a shootout with Edmonton.
I
So
don't think
tonight's
so
gonna be
either.
really
I think they're
yeah,
probably.
tonight's gonna be really interesting to see how the team comes out. And if like Edmonton comes out and scores the first or scores, two, makes it 2-1, 2-0, will they come out and, will they have the fight in them to extend the series? And again, it's
Maybe
one
a
of those.
game or two.
Yeah, like I said, it's one of those we'll have to see, how the goalie plays and how the LA Kings respond to it. But again, you never know with the Oilers have been in this position before. Let's see what they do. Again, that's talk about coaching matters, and for the Edmonton Oilers, apparently the coaching mattered because that's as soon as they fired Crawford, it was they just started flying with Knobloch.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, let's see how this plays out. It's going to be a good game. It's at 10 o'clock tonight. Actually, I probably will probably throw it on since I'm off tonight. So I'll probably sit there and watch it, see what happens.
All right.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, one last piece of news, Gunk, that we need to touch upon before we head out this week. Buffalo cleared a little bit of house and picked
I
up
knew
your
this was coming.
boy.
Oh, I knew this was coming. I was trying to avoid this at all costs.
So we need to
Yes,
talk about your boy Lindsay is back coaching Buffalo again. Maybe he could
dude.
take him to the playoffs like he did the last time.
Oh my God. When I saw that come across, I had to like double take. I had to like click actually on it just to. I was like, this is a effing
I
joke,
thought
right?
maybe he retired or something, and they were saying thank you.
Yeah, that's what. Yes. And then when I said they hired him as the head coach, I was like, oh my God,
That's not the answer. It's not the
it's not the
answer.
answer. And
That
again, people out there that are Rangers fans, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna bring the Devils up again. This seems like the scenario. This seems like the scenario back maybe like 20 years ago where Lou Arriola would just he fired Robbie Fatorik in 2000, brought in Larry Robinson, who was a part of the '95 team. They won the cup, and he kept doing it over the next like 10 years. Just kept anybody they had, they replaced them, or he would take over on the bench. Their coaching scenario back in those days were ridiculous, and I feel like you can't rehash old memories with coaches. It's just not. It's just
it
sometimes it
doesn't
just doesn't
work.
fit.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is something that's not gonna work. I mean, you
Yeah.
got you got yeah. I don't see what Buffalo is doing. You need for and I noticed this year again a lot because again watching them, that team needs a youth uh emergence of youth in their coaching.
Yeah. The
They need it. They need a nice, good young coach to coach up these players.
There's no
There's a
Alexander
lot of
Holtz for
young.
him to put on the fourth line now.
Oh, I'm sure he'll find some. I'm sure he'll put like power. Like he'll like he'll cut
Please God no.
he'll scratch power for a few games just to prove a point or something, or he'll put somebody else. Yeah,
Devin
I don't
Levi's
get it.
never gonna see the ice ever again.
Never. Oh yeah, he's gonna give up one goal. He's gonna get pulled. It's not. Yeah, no.
You could go do your stupid Jedi stuff on the bench.
Yeah. What's this Jedi stuff you're doing? I don't know what that is. I've only watched I never seen him do that in Empire Strikes Back. He probably never even watched the new ones, and he probably doesn't even understand what's going on. Oh, what do you think you are, Obi-Wan Kenobi or something like that? I mean, come on now.
This is the fucking
You can just
National Hockey League.
Yeah, it's the National Hockey League. What do you think this is? Fucking Endor and shit? Get out of here. But yeah, I knew
But
that was coming. God damn it! I was trying to
hey,
avoid it for one
never.
hour. I was trying to avoid that.
Nope.
Dang it.
You get to talk. Lindsay never leaves.
Uh,
But
well, this should be interesting because again, starting next season, that the Devils in Buffalo will start in Prague, so it should be
ooh,
a little extra storyline going into the beginning of next season. So they have a couple. They have a global series, to start the season next year with the Devils and Sabres in Prague. So it'll bring a little interesting storyline to it. But Buffalo, what are you doing? I mean, shit.
gang, I gotta pose the same question of Buffalo. What are you doing? But I also
What are you
gotta
doing?
pose the same question to you guys. What are you guys doing? You're right here listening to us, and for that, we love
Absolutely.
to thank you and hope that you enjoyed listening to this week's episode of the What the Puck podcast. I've
Um,
been Nick,
Hold
and
on.
Gunk, what's
Let me.
up?
Can I just have like 5 minutes real quick?
Oh, sure.
It's nothing like it was something because today, as we record this, today is May 1st, and I just wanted to it's I mean it's a sad story, but I wanted to bring it up today just because it is, when we talked about we were just talking about the Rangers and what happened 30 years ago with the Rangers run and the Knicks run and everything that was happening that year. Today was, again, you don't know because you're young, but my dad had passed away on this day 30 years ago in 94. And I just wanted to bring it up on the podcast just because it's a memory for me. And I'm going to bring it back to hockey too because again, everything happened with that on that day. Really early in the morning. It was like 9:30 in the morning that everything happened. And I know I'm getting all like I'm sorry. Again, if you want to cut this, it's fine. But I feel like just because of where we came from, and now basically this is the new generation of our family, and I would just want to bring up a little bit of the past. But yeah, everything happened on this day. Again, it was 30 years ago. It was May 1st, 94. I was a 17-year-old little shit kid, and um, we had just beaten Buffalo in the first round, and our second round game was against Boston that day, and it started around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And being so upset, the Devils really did make that few hours. They did lose that game because I looked it up. I couldn't remember like the game. I remember the game like you know in my head because I remember them playing that day, and I remember for a few hours that the Devils did bring me a little joy that day. I mean, they lost 2-1 to Boston. They finally did win the series, and of course we all know went to the conference finals against the Rangers that year, which again really helped with my little mental status at the time when everything was going on. So I wanted to bring it around to hockey, just for that few hours while everything was going hectic that day. I did have hockey in my life, and I feel like that was one of the main reasons I started loving hockey as much as I did. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was a 15, 16-year-old kid, I loved every sport. I loved watching baseball, football, hockey, basketball, everything I can get sports-wise. But for the Devils and hockey in general, really that day really solidified my hockey fandom because it was a few hours just to separate real life from a little joy. And from maybe 1 till 3:30 in the afternoon, the Devils brought me a little bit of joy in my life to sit and watch a game and to knock out the distractions for a few hours. Really, helped my mental status during that day. And again, it always brought it in my brain. So I just wanted to bring it up on the podcast because again, this is our hockey podcast, and I feel like maybe something like that didn't happen, maybe I wouldn't be as big as a fan as I am right now. So, you know, God bless Dad. God bless your grandfather. Just wanted to give a little shout out to my man. I love him always. I will always love him. You would have loved him, trust me. I know you would have. And like I said, just before, I know it's a somber note before we bring the podcast away, but I did want to bring that up today and just wanted to bring up, a good memory from that day. And, it's a tough day for the older people in our family. So I just want to say I love yous all. I love my family. And like I said, this you guys, new generation are awesome. Between girlfriends and boyfriends of whoever's dating you guys and my little one and you guys are awesome. And you're bringing us into a new generation of our family. And it makes me feel good that the next generation is going to be just as well as me and your mom's generation. And I'm sorry, I just wanted to bring it up, and
Okay.
I appreciate you let me spew for 5 minutes. Again, I did bring it back to a hockey thing, so it wasn't just a sad thing. But like I said, thank you to the Devils for making that run making my life a little more tolerable during that '94 run, and then we had the '95 championship. So it was a great time, for hockey during that point, and I just wanted to bring that up today, and thank you for letting me talk real quick. And now we can end the podcast.
All right. You're
On
welcome,
a
Gunk. And thank you all so much for listening
thank
to
you.
us here. Check us out wherever you can find us on our socials and everywhere. Check us out on YouTube and everything.
Yes.
But I've been Nick. That's been Gunk. We will see you all next week. And the second round should be starting soon, everybody. Let's go
Yep.
Rangers. Have a good one.
Round
Peace.
two. Peace.